Welcome to the Survivor Idiots channel, where failing forward and watching us be idiots is better than you being an idiot and not knowing what you're doing. Today we're going to talk about which below $20 axe from Harbor Freight, of all places, should go in your bug out bag or your bushcrafting bag. So here we have two Harbor Freight axes. This video will be comparing the Harbor Freight hatchet to the Harbor Freight fireman's axe. Now, we're missing a spike here, and we'll talk about that. So, let's talk about the obvious differences right off the bat. First off, they're lined up at the back here, and we have a substantially longer handle on the fireman's axe. The other big difference right off the bat is the fireman's axe is heavier. I believe that this is a 2-pound head before we cut the spike off, and the hatchet, I believe, is a 1.25. One of the other big things that you can see right off the bat is you get less of knuckle protection here. So if you're doing small woodworking tasks, such as limbing, you get less knuckle protection than with this one. Now let's talk about the modifications done to these. First off, you'll notice that the handles don't look shiny with a lacquer finish. That's because I've taken a draw knife to these and then treated them with boiled linseed oil. 100% recommend you do. I also engraved this one because it's going to be a Christmas gift. The last thing I did was I reprofiled and sharpened that edge because the edge was atrocious. You're going to have to do that at minimum. Also, I planed this flat on the back so that it's a little easier to beat in stakes or anything of the sort. This one, I took all the red off except for on the bottom, did the exact same treatment to the handle, and I cut the spike off the back. Now it's important to note that can be done with any grinder, with a cutting wheel, super easy. That could be the first break point for you though. If you don't have a grinder and you don't have the means to be able to do that, everything I did with this you can do with a file. This one, you can't cut that tip off with a file. So let's recreate one of the things that you're probably going to be doing. One of those is making a tent stake, right? That was really easy. So for both of those, I'd have to say they're equally a win. Both of them came out pretty good. The fireman's hatchet won very quickly with that. However, I mean, they both did the job and they're both pretty comfortable. The one thing to note is this fireman's hatchet is much heavier, which means your swings are a lot more dramatic. The other thing that I noted was this hatchet feels like it has 4 hand positions. It's got your fully choked up piece with the nice buck right here. It has that half hold. It's got the very far heavy swing hold that you can do, as well as the half choked up single hand hold. Whereas this one has that choked up hold. You have a mid hold, and then you have a back hold. It's not super comfortable in 2 hands. Actually gonna go with the little hatchet. I think the little hatchet did better than this big boy. Was easier to swing, was still taking out real big chunks. The big one had a little bit more weight behind it. It felt a little better to swing. Swinging at a tree perpendicular might make that easier, might not. The little one was a little nicer for the smaller, like the little taps. This one was nicer because I was able to have that 2-handed grip, a little wider apart. Ultimately, I think the workability of both of these is pretty much the same. So now we'll talk about limit. You have a tree like this, you got to get rid of these bad boys. Which one of these is better for, setting up your camp? Let's find out, shall we? That's going to be hard to beat. That big one, the big limbs took 2 or 3 hits, but most of those I was able to just swipe through. Let's see how the little one holds up. Whereas it gets through them, and I got 1 or 2 one or two good hits that toppled it, it's just not as good. The weight, the issue is the weight. It's not as heavy, and you can't comfortably hold two hands on this. So for lemon like this, you certainly can. It's just not as easy. Let's try chopping, huh? Baby face cut. See how the little one does. It's kind of here or there. This one is smaller, so it gets in there a lot better, but you can't make a dent as quickly as you can with a heavy axe. For chopping, it goes to the fireman's axe. But honestly, if I had to put one of these in my bags, it'd be the cheaper one. It'd be this little $12.99 hatchet, because it's honestly great. For $12.99, I absolutely can't complain. Yes, I'd like to see a little bit more guard, but the fact that this required nothing really other than, you know, profiling the top and refinishing the handle, are you kidding me? This thing's awesome. This bad boy, now if I were to talk about the looks, I like this one better. It looks cooler than this one. Practicality wise, this little one wins. But I do like this one. I do like it a lot. I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. It's so cool. Maybe if I made this flatter or something, I don't know. Leave in the comments what you think I should do to this to make it better. I don't know. Remember, boiled linseed oil. Once a day for a week, once a week for a month for a year, and then once a year after that, you'll be putting that boiled linseed oil on there. And these two are thirsty.